What if your garden only needed watering once a week instead of daily? Amish gardeners have quietly mastered techniques that cut water use by 75% while growing more abundant vegetables. Their simple methods don't need fancy equipment, just forgotten wisdom that modern gardeners are rediscovering with amazing results. When it comes to gardening wisdom, the Amish have quietly perfected what modern gardeners struggle to achieve: growing abundant vegetables while using 75% less water. At the heart of this approach is what they call the soil sponge philosophy, treating soil not as mere dirt, but as a living water reservoir. Most suburban gardeners find themselves watering daily during summer months, potentially wasting thousands of gallons per season. Meanwhile, Amish gardeners often water just once weekly, even during dry periods. The secret lies in soil preparation that begins months before seeds touch earth. Traditional Amish gardens incorporate specific organic amendments that dramatically enhance water retention capacity. Their soil mixture typically includes well-aged manure, decomposed leaf matter, and what many call black gold, worm castings that create microscopic water-holding pockets throughout the soil. My neighbor spent $500 on an irrigation system while I spent $50 on compost. Guess which one of us is still watering 3 times a week? Not me. This practical wisdom captures the essence of why Amish methods have endured for generations. The science behind this approach is straightforward. Soil structure directly impacts irrigation efficiency. Amish gardeners focus on creating soil with optimal balance between water retention and drainage. Their gardens hold moisture without becoming waterlogged, allowing plant roots to access hydration as needed rather than forcing plants to endure cycles of flood and drought. By transforming garden beds into natural sponges, Amish growers establish the foundation for water independence. However, even the best soil needs plants that know how to make the most of available moisture, which is why understanding what happens beneath the surface becomes the next crucial element in mastering water-efficient gardening. Ever watch plants wilt during a hot afternoon, despite watering them that morning? That's because most garden plants have shallow roots that can't reach the moisture hiding just a foot below the surface. The magic of Amish gardening techniques becomes clear when you dig up one of their plants. While typical suburban garden plants reach down just 4 to 6 inches, vegetables in traditional Amish gardens often develop root systems extending 18 to 24 inches deep, sometimes even more. Here's the surprising math. Doubling root depth doesn't just double water access, it can reduce watering needs by 75% or more. Why? Because deeper soil stays consistently moist even during dry spells, while the top few inches dry out quickly under the hot sun. Creating these water-efficient deep root systems requires patience and discipline. Most gardeners unknowingly sabotage their plants by watering frequently but shallowly. This trains roots to stay near the surface where they quickly exhaust available moisture. The Amish approach: water deeply but infrequently. By allowing the top few inches of soil to dry slightly between waterings, plants are encouraged to send roots downward in search of consistent moisture. Watering your garden daily is like feeding teenagers every hour. You'll create dependence instead of independence. After just one growing season with this method, many gardeners report cutting their watering frequency from daily to weekly. While the soil sponge creates the foundation, these deep-diving roots become the delivery system for lasting hydration. But even with excellent soil and strong roots, moisture can still escape, which is why what covers your garden matters just as much as what's underneath it. Bare soil is thirsty soil. The sun beats down, wind whips across, and precious moisture vanishes into thin air. Traditional Amish gardeners understand this fundamental truth, which is why you'll rarely see exposed earth in their growing spaces. Instead, they build what might be called mulch mountains, protective layers that lock moisture underground where plants can access it. Take a square foot of uncovered garden soil during summer. It might lose up to 1 gallon of water daily through evaporation alone. Cover that same patch with proper mulch, and water loss drops by up to 80%. The Amish approach often involves what gardeners now call the lasagna method, alternating layers of different organic materials. A base of newspaper or cardboard smothers weeds, followed by compost, straw, leaves, grass clippings, and more compost. Each material serves a specific purpose in the water retention system. Not all mulches perform equally. Wood chips hold approximately twice the moisture of straw, while leaf mold can retain nearly 3 times its weight in water. Dark mulches warm soil earlier in spring, but may cause more evaporation during peak summer heat. The difference between an Amish garden and a modern garden: one has 6 inches of mulch, the other has 6 inches of water bills. Thickness matters tremendously. 2 inches might suffice for ornamentals, but vegetable gardens benefit from 4 to 6 inches during hot months. The Amish typically maintain thicker mulch around heat-loving plants like tomatoes and thinner layers around cool-season crops. Common mulching mistakes include piling material against plant stems, inviting rot and pests, and using fresh wood chips that temporarily rob soil of nitrogen as they decompose. While these protective layers shield gardens from drought, they work most effectively when they capture every drop of available moisture, which is why smart water collection becomes the next essential piece of the Amish conservation puzzle. The only product we'll ever promote on our channel is a book by Claude Davis, a veteran prepper, about 126 superfoods and preservation methods from crisis times like the Great Depression and wartime that are impossible to find elsewhere. We decided to promote his book because we are the last generation able to share these techniques and superfoods to our children or grandchildren. It would be a shame to see this information about highly nutritious foods and preservation methods to survive crises disappear. You can also find a book about herbal remedies from Nicole Apelian on their store. If you're watching this on TV, you can look up our channel, Frugal Solutions, on your phone or tablet and find the books by clicking the link in our channel description or any other video description. Free water falls from the sky regularly, yet most homeowners let thousands of gallons run off their property every year. The average roof collects about 600 gallons of water for every inch of rainfall. For a modest 1,500 square foot home, that's 9,000 gallons annually in many regions, enough to water a sizable vegetable garden all season long. Amish communities have perfected simple water harvesting techniques that require no electricity, complex pumps, or expensive equipment. Their methods rely instead on gravity, strategic placement, and careful planning. Rain barrels represent the entry point to water harvesting. Placed beneath downspouts, a standard 55-gallon barrel fills completely during just a quarter-inch rainfall. More ambitious systems link multiple barrels together with simple overflow pipes, creating storage capacity of hundreds of gallons. Beyond containers, the Amish design their landscapes to direct and hold water naturally. Shallow swales, essentially ditches following land contours, capture runoff and allow it to slowly infiltrate soil. These simple earthworks can store 20 times more water in the ground than containers hold above it. For slope properties, terraces create level planting areas that prevent rapid water runoff. Even minor elevation changes of just 2 to 3 inches between terraces significantly increase water retention. The Amish philosophy treats water as a precious resource to be used multiple times. Washing water waters garden plants, cooking water cools and feeds chickens, and animal washing water irrigates fruit trees. Modern gardeners watch the weather forecast hoping for rain. Amish gardeners watch their rain barrels filling up and think, there goes another water bill I'm not paying. While collecting water provides the supply, knowing exactly when and how to apply it ensures nothing goes to waste, which is why understanding which plants naturally support each other can multiply the effectiveness of every drop collected. Plants helping plants. That's the secret hiding in plain sight in Amish gardens. Where modern agriculture often plants single crops in long, isolated rows, traditional Amish gardens mix different plants together in strategic combinations that naturally conserve water. Did you know a tall corn plant can reduce water evaporation for smaller plants growing in its shadow? Or that certain shallow-rooted plants pair perfectly with deep-rooted neighbors, allowing them to share the same square foot without competing for water? The classic Three Sisters planting demonstrates this water-wise approach. Corn provides a natural trellis and afternoon shade. Beans fix nitrogen to feed nearby plants while climbing the corn stalks, and squash spreads across the soil as living mulch that suppresses water-stealing weeds and reduces evaporation. Some companion plants actually improve each other's drought tolerance through chemical signals exchanged through their roots or beneficial interactions with soil fungi. Research shows that basil planted with tomatoes can increase their neighbor's drought resistance by up to 25%. Low-growing herbs like thyme and oregano serve as living mulch around taller vegetables, keeping soil cool and moist. Plants with umbrella-shaped blooms such as dill and fennel provide partial shade that protects lettuce and spinach from wilting during summer heat. Good companion planting is like a retirement community. Everybody has something to contribute, nobody wastes resources, and they all help each other stay healthy without calling the doctor. Nasturtiums act as remarkable water conservation allies in the garden. Their broad leaves collect morning dew, directing it to their own base and benefiting nearby plants. Their shallow root systems don't compete with deeper-rooted vegetables. By creating these mutually beneficial plant communities, Amish gardeners reduce water needs. But even the best-designed garden partnerships still need water at the right time, which is where understanding nature's clock becomes essential. When to water matters just as much as how much water to apply. The Amish have long practiced what modern gardeners now call the 5:30 rule, watering early in the morning, ideally around 5:30 a.m., to maximize efficiency and minimize waste. Morning watering allows plants to stock up on moisture before the day's heat arrives. According to agricultural studies, watering at this time can reduce consumption by 30% compared to afternoon irrigation. Water applied during midday heat can evaporate before roots even absorb it, with up to 60% lost to the air instead of feeding plants. Evening watering, while convenient for busy schedules, creates problems too. Leaves that remain wet overnight become invitations for fungal diseases and slugs. The Amish noticed this pattern generations ago, establishing morning watering as standard practice. Rather than following rigid schedules, traditional Amish gardeners rely on physical indicators to determine when plants truly need water. Footprints that remain visible in long grass for more than a few seconds indicate drought stress. Curling tomato leaves and drooping bean plants serve as visual indicators of water need. A garden watered at noon is like throwing ice cubes into a hot frying pan. A lot of sizzle, but not much benefit. Weather wisdom plays a crucial role in Amish watering decisions. They observe that cloudy days following rain often preserve soil moisture longer than expected, allowing watering to be delayed. Similarly, hot winds can dry soil faster than sunshine alone. Plants also follow natural hydration cycles, typically needing more water during flowering and fruiting stages than during early growth or dormancy. The Amish calendar accounts for these varying needs throughout the growing season. While timing helps conserve water, the tools used to deliver moisture directly impact efficiency, which explains why traditional hand tools often outperform modern sprinklers in water-savvy Amish gardens. Walking through an Amish garden, you'll notice a conspicuous absence of plastic hoses, sprinklers, and automated irrigation systems. Instead, you'll find an array of specialized hand tools that deliver water with remarkable precision and minimal waste. The humble watering can remains a staple in Amish gardens. Unlike sprinklers that spray water indiscriminately, a watering can with a proper rose attachment delivers moisture exactly where needed, at the base of plants where roots can access it. This targeted approach uses up to a third less water than conventional sprinklers. Studies confirm what Amish gardeners have known for generations. Modern sprinkler systems waste between 30 to 50% of water through evaporation and runoff. Even drip irrigation systems, considered efficient by today's standards, waste 10% of water through evaporation. Perhaps the most distinctive Amish watering tool is the water furrow hoe, featuring a blade specifically designed to create small channels that direct water precisely to plant roots. These microtrenches guide water underground where evaporation can't steal it away. When used properly, this technique reduces water consumption by up to 70% compared to surface watering. Another water-saving implement is the traditional trenching spade. With its narrow, straight blade, it creates deep irrigation trenches between plant rows that become miniature reservoirs. Water soaks deeply rather than running off the surface, encouraging those water-saving deep root systems. Fancy irrigation systems are like those motorized golf carts, expensive, need constant maintenance, and deprive you of the exercise that was half the benefit in the first place. The traditional Amish dibber, a pointed wooden tool for making planting holes, creates slightly deeper depressions around newly transplanted seedlings. These natural catch basins hold water directly at the root zone, preventing runoff and reducing watering frequency. These simple hand tools deliver water with impressive efficiency, proving that sometimes older technology outperforms modern alternatives. Yet even the best tools can only do so much if the plants themselves aren't naturally equipped to handle dry conditions. Which brings us to another vital aspect of Amish water conservation wisdom. What if your vegetables could thrive with half the water simply because of the seeds you chose? Amish gardeners have preserved drought-resistant varieties for generations, often saving seeds from plants that perform best during dry seasons. Modern commercial seeds typically develop in greenhouse conditions with abundant water and fertilizer. In contrast, Amish heritage varieties evolved under real-world conditions where survival depended on natural resilience. These seeds produce plants with genetic adaptations to handle stress and limited water. Remarkable differences exist between commercial and heritage varieties. Standard store-bought tomato varieties often require watering every 2 to 3 days during summer heat. Many Amish preserved tomato varieties can go 5 to 7 days between waterings while maintaining production. That's a 50 to 60% reduction in water usage from seed selection alone. The difference lies in physical adaptations. Drought-resistant varieties often feature deeper root systems, smaller leaf surface areas to reduce water loss, and waxy leaf coatings that prevent evaporation. Some develop tiny hairs on stems and leaves that capture morning dew, providing supplemental moisture. Modern hybrid seeds and heritage seeds handle drought like new cars versus old trucks. One needs constant attention while the other just keeps running. Through generations of careful observation, Amish gardeners identified and preserved varieties that showed natural drought resistance. Their seed banks maintain corn that developed during the Dust Bowl years, beans that thrive during historic droughts, and squash varieties that produce despite minimal rainfall. Choosing the right seeds provides a foundation for water efficiency that requires no extra work after planting. Yet, even ordinary plants can become extraordinary water savers when the soil beneath them contains special ingredients that turn it into a natural water bank. The Amish secret weapon against drought isn't complicated technology. It's what they mix into their soil. These special additives transform ordinary garden beds into moisture-storing reservoirs that keep plants hydrated during dry spells without constant watering. Traditional biochar, a type of charcoal made specifically for soil improvement, stands as the cornerstone of Amish water conservation systems. Unlike regular charcoal, biochar undergoes a special oxygen-limited burning process that creates a highly porous material. 1 pound of biochar can hold up to 5 pounds of water, slowly releasing it to plant roots during dry periods. Scientific research confirms what Amish gardeners discovered through practical experience. Gardens amended with biochar require 25 to 40% less irrigation than those without. The tiny microscopic holes in biochar particles act like millions of miniature water tanks in the soil. Another Amish secret involves clay amendments. When mixed into sandy soils, particular types of clay dramatically improve water retention. Bentonite clay can absorb up to 7 times its weight in water and releases it gradually as soil dries out. Good garden soil should be like a reliable savings account. It holds on to resources when abundant and releases them when needed. Long before commercial products appeared on store shelves, Amish gardeners created their own water retention mixtures. Ground eggshells, aged manure, and finely crushed leaves combine to form aggregates that improve both drainage and water holding capacity. The benefits compound over time. Gardens receiving these amendments for 3 consecutive years typically show 50 to 60% reductions in irrigation needs compared to untreated soil. While these amendments create the perfect environment for plants to thrive, even the best soil conditions are only part of the equation. The truly successful gardener must also develop another skill that no tool or product can replace: the ability to read their plants. Plants talk, not with words, but through visible signals that clearly communicate their needs. Amish gardeners have developed the art of reading this silent language, allowing them to provide water only when truly necessary instead of following rigid schedules. Learning to interpret plant signals eliminates much of the guesswork in watering. A 2020 agricultural study found gardeners who watered based on careful observation used 42% less water than those following fixed schedules, yet achieved identical harvest weights. Different vegetables display unique drought indicators. Tomato leaves fold like prayer hands when they begin experiencing water stress. Bean leaves turn a lighter shade of green and lose their glossiness before wilting. Lettuce leaves display subtle blue undertones when approaching drought conditions. Mornings provide the best time for this plant observation. Any wilting noticed during afternoon heat is normal for many plants, but morning wilting indicates genuine water need. Amish gardens typically reserve early hours specifically for assessing plant moisture status. Reading your plants is like checking on elderly relatives. Both appreciate the attention, and both will definitely let you know when something's wrong. The color of leaf undersides also reveals crucial information. Many plants show pale undersides when lacking water, while normal hydration maintains deeper coloration. Ground around plant stems that pulls away from the soil surface indicates shrinkage from water loss. Amish gardeners look beyond the obvious wilting signs most people recognize. They notice subtle changes in leaf position, stem rigidity, and even the sound leaves make when rubbed between fingers. Crisp leaves indicate adequate hydration, while limp leaves suggest water deficit. This skill of plant interpretation, developed through generations of careful observation, represents the culmination of Amish water conservation practices, turning gardening from a water-intensive activity into a harmonious partnership with nature's own rhythms. These Amish water-saving techniques prove the most powerful gardening solutions are often the simplest. By working with nature's systems rather than against them, anyone can reduce watering by 75% while growing healthier, more abundant vegetables. The secret was there all along, hidden in plain sight for generations.